Hello, welcome to The Arena, RVN's highest rated real estate specific show. My name is Matt Boyce, and I wanted to bring you this show because this market is a battle. We want to bring on experts that are going to help you fight and win that battle. Today, for the first time in Arena history, we have a guest coming on for the second time. Her name is Mary Murphy. Mary runs the Murphy Group and just made a switch over to real brokerage. Last year, despite it being such a crazy year in the markets, her and her team were able to help over 150 families, and that was over $50 million in business. So I wanted to welcome her back on. Mary, thanks for being on the show again.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, I just thought it was interesting to have you on because you just made a move, and I've been seeing across the board a lot of real estate agents just are all questioning, what are they doing? Are they with the right brokerage? Are they with the right team? Are they running their business the right way? And I just thought it'd be really interesting because first, congratulations on the move.
Thanks.
And I was interested because we haven't even really gotten into it between the two of us. And I thought no better place to talk about it than in front of lots and lots of people.
Of course.
Why did you do it? And what are you seeing out there with the industry being so disrupted? What's happening?
So I think that in the market we've been in over the past couple years, it didn't really matter where you were. Everything worked. Right, everything worked. It was just a hot market. It was, and it was also a hard time to make any kind of changes. I loved my last company. I was with eXp Realty and I moved over to real brokerage. You know what's funny about me and my team is that the brokerage is really that. They broker our deals. We run our business through them. I don't want to be an independent brokerage because I'm not really looking for the liability. So for me, when I'm looking for a brokerage, it's really who is the best fit for me and my team, where are the people that who are growing, who are selling at a high level that I can collaborate with, and what's going to be a seamless and easy process for my admin team. So it's not so much what I expect from my broker, it is that, but it's really the people that are there that's important to me.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that are buying and selling and they look at the real estate agent, I don't know if they necessarily know the difference between all these brokerages. So if I'm somebody that's trying to choose an agent to represent me, if I want to sell, and of course if I want to sell and then buy, what difference does it really make for the normal person? Is it having any impact on the way that their transaction is going to be handled?
It doesn't, and I think that it's a mistake for a lot of agents to really lean on that brand of the brokerage. You should be building your own brand from the very beginning. So for me, I built my business on for sale by owners and expired listings. I didn't know if someone at my brokerage had already had a bad transaction with them or had, made them mad in some way. So from the very beginning, I was always Mary Murphy, your local real estate expert. I was always a local realtor. And then it was the Murphy Group, which is now a recognized brand. The brand, my clients probably don't even know that I moved or what it means. When they ask me what it is, it's a one sentence blurb, and then it's right back to the value the Murphy Group provides. So, we focus on that brand more than anything else. That's the important part.
So it seems like if you're an individual agent though, a team, I could see that. You have your brand, you have your identity as a team, but as an individual agent that might just be looking for more support, is it, in your opinion, the brokerage they need to be focusing on, or maybe it's, hey, I need support, maybe it's a team I need to maybe align myself with, and then get that support from them, and then secondary is the brokerage?
The brokerage is always secondary. On a team, on your own, solo agent, I think you should always be promoting your own brand. That's very important. And yeah, if they're looking for more support, I don't know that support really comes from the brokerage anymore. I think that's an older model. Back in the beginning, your broker was your everything, right? They taught you everything, and you went in the office to learn from the top agents in the office. Times have changed. You get a lot of your information online. We hire higher level coaches. The people I collaborate with, most are not even in this state for the most part. So team for support, I would say. If you are looking for support, back end, transaction, systems, marketing, lead opportunities, all of that, I would say you would look for a team.
So systems, and I think this is interesting. A lot of people probably envision a real estate brokerage similar to what you just said. It's a brick and mortar place. They pass by it all the time and they think, well, when I'm ready to buy or sell, I'll just stop in there. And that's not the way it works anymore. So I know that we discussed that real is more or less web-based and virtual in a certain sense. But I also know it's not like you work, out of your car. You have a physical space. So what's going on right now in real estate? Again, a lot of people are watching this. They haven't even thought about real estate besides watching, House Hunters once in a blue moon in a long time. So how does it work? Just so for someone that's about to get into the environment, the industry, and search for that agent to list or buy, what's the difference between a virtual brokerage and a physical brokerage?
The real difference between a cloud-based brokerage or virtual brokerage and a physical brokerage is that we can do all of our transactions paperless. We don't have to go into a building to hand off our checks or, print out our closing documents. I mean, we're completely paperless. In fact, the Murphy Group has almost always been completely paperless. So what I love about the cloud-based model, that's where I previously was and where I was now, is that everything can be handled from wherever you want to be. We can upload a transaction from the beach or from our office. Now, we do want to physically collaborate. So I do have a branch office. That's for my people to come into. Anyone who joins with me or is on my team, we collaborate together there.
Yeah.
But everything else is cloud-based. We use Zoom constantly and webinars, and everything's through Workplace. And we get paid in a day, and it's all uploaded. We literally walk into a closing. I used to remember going to closings when I was first licensed, and I'd be with that newer agent, or I was a new agent. They were doing it 20 years, and they would come with this folder that was this fat. And I used to sit there and think, what is in there?
And how big's their filing cabinet?
What's in there? And they would print out every email, and then I just started bringing folders with
mostly
nothing in
Chinese menus and other, that's where they keep all of that.
Now we go in, we have nothing, everything's been signed, we went over the numbers with our clients already, you've gone over the numbers with our buyers, and now we're just sitting down for the physically signed paperwork. There's not.
And even that is going more and more virtual.
It's going, almost everything is, because the reality is we don't have to be in person to do most things now. We do need to have some sort of in-person collaboration. Just like we don't want to do virtual happy hours anymore, right? We do want to get together physically. We don't need to do that just to close a real estate transaction.
Yeah, so great point. If you're someone that, again, you're looking to get into, you want to buy, you want to sell, and things are so transactional now. You want to buy something, what do? You go on Amazon, you go on Google, you look at reviews, you buy something, it's on your doorstep a few days later. I know every day's Christmas on my doorstep. My wife and I are always arguing. I know everybody probably is going through the same thing. So I get it. I get the ease of going online and just doing everything, but you made a good point, and maybe you can elaborate on it. At what part of this process is it important to be physically in front of each other, and at what part do you think can be automated?
So I think the transaction can be automated. The back end, sending paperwork to the company, and contracts being signed electronically. We often still will do a Zoom with our clients to go over it, or they may come in and want to physically sign. But paperwork, that can be done pretty much paper-free.
Sure.
We don't need to meet for that. I also like a lot of the coaching and training to be virtual, to be through Zoom. Why? Because I don't want to learn from the top agent in the office. I mean, that's going to be me at this point, right? So I need to learn from people who are way past that, and most of them aren't going to be in my local market.
They could be in Colorado or Utah.
Some of my closest friends and collaborators are not right here in the local market, and I collaborate with them constantly through Zoom, through all of that. So that doesn't need to be done. We do still like to physically get together and go through trainings. And my team, I just told you, I got here early because I wanted to get out of my full office, right? They're all in there right now. They're all prospecting together.
And she loves every single one of them.
I do. In fact, we prospect together every Wednesday all day. It's an all-day call day.
Yes.
They crush that day because they do better together and hearing from each other and learning from each other. So
Yeah.
I love the balance. We are very 50-50. No papers. We use everything's electronic with that, but we do get together constantly, all week.
Yeah, and so I think it seems like that's a nice balance where during the pandemic, everybody went virtual with everything. Like you said, I can't do another virtual happy hour, all right?
I'll never do that again.
At a certain point, you're just a sad person drinking by yourself, all right, in front of a laptop or your worse yet, your phone. And so I think I get it there. So let's talk about your clients. And again, at what point of the process do you feel is best to be in front of them? And what part do you think is best that it can be virtual?
So my sellers, I sit down with them, right? I'm gonna walk through their property and we're gonna sit down together and come up with a plan on, the best price and all of that. So that's always gonna be it's not always in person. I've done that virtually as well. If they're out of state, I can do it through Zoom. There's plenty of sellers that I have never met in person. But for the most part, if someone's selling their primary home, they want me to sit down at their table. We go over the marketing plan together. They show me the upgrades they've done. Mm-hmm. There is value in that human connection there. Buyers, although we have sold a lot of houses now through FaceTime and through video because we have out-of-state buyers all the time, buyers do prefer to walk through the home. I mean, 99% of them walk through the home before they buy it. Not all of them if they're military, but for the most part, that's an in-person thing. We also like to sit down and do consultations with our buyers and sellers and talk about what their goals, and it's harder to do that on Zoom. It's done, we do it, but I do like that stuff in person. What doesn't need to be done is the rest of it. Putting offers in, contracts, even most of the closing, all the transaction to close, most of that's it's done virtually now. It's easier for everyone.
So really, it seems getting in front of them in the beginning, having a buyer's consultation or seller's consultation, physically seeing the house, making sure everything's good, setting it up front, and then moving forward is virtually and letting your process take over. That's what you would recommend.
Yes. So we are very personalized and personal touch with a ton of automation and technology. So we have our systems. We are solid in our systemization and our technology and our artificial intelligence. All of that's on point, but we're still people. We're still here to hear your feelings. I mean, they say that buying and selling a home outside of, death of a loved one and divorce is one of the most stressful times. Sometimes we're dealing with people who are also going through death of a loved one or divorce.
Sure.
So this is a very stressful time for people. So we're there for them. But the stuff that can be automated and done virtually, we just make sure to do that. It just eases the process for everybody.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, so I interviewed one of Mary's agents. She doesn't know about this, and had to talk with them. And I just wanted to find out, well, what was it that they liked about it? They were pretty new to the industry, but they had enough experience where they knew what they would need as far as support is concerned. And one of the things that they said I thought was interesting is having that support in the background and the systems running and the automation, the technology. Again, all great, but on its own, it doesn't do much. But it allowed them to focus on what was important and allow them to really pay attention to their clients, develop those relationships, have the one-on-one, the FaceTime with them, not the FaceTime, real FaceTime, and then all those things in the processes run in the background just made them more efficient, made them look more professional, and they loved your support. So it was great feedback I got from them. I thought I'd share with you. Now, I will say, we're going to come back with Mary. We're going to take a quick break and then come back with a recap of 2022, which should be fun, and we're going to get her crystal ball out. We're going to have her predict the future. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Bob Hochgertel from Kings Road Brewing Company. I'm here to tell you about a brand new show on RVN television called Cooking with the King. Each week, we're going to taste and sample some of the best beers the Kings Road Brewing Company has to offer. And we're going to talk to area chefs and restaurant owners as we pair our beer with their signature dishes. We're going to teach you how to cook and eat like a king. Cheers.
A stroke can be easy to detect. A loved one can't speak, perhaps they can't move. But there's another sign of a stroke that many of us can't see. It's called spatial neglect, and it can occur during or after a stroke, causing distorted visual movements. Fortunately, there's a solution by using optical prism technology during rehabilitation. If you or a loved one have experienced a stroke, ask your doctor about spatial neglect. Spatial neglect. See the whole picture at KesslerFoundation.org.
Are you burned out?
Hi, welcome back to the arena. My name is Matt Boyce. Today we're joined by Mary Murphy. Mary's been in real estate for almost a decade now, has helped over 150 families just last year, and is one of the top agents in our region. I've been interviewing her and just finding out a little bit more what her take is on what's happening with the market. If you're a real estate agent, should you be focusing on in choosing a brokerages? What's important? If you're a buyer, a seller, what should be important to you as you interview an agent to represent you? So I want to take a step back for a second and look at 2022. It was a crazy year. We had mortgage rates, which really, let's face it, drive our industry. They went from about 2.99 last January, and they ended the year in the mid-sixes. At one point, they were over 7%. So I think that was a big shock for a lot of people. Houses just became way more expensive, and we didn't see values coming down. So I just want to ask you, it seemed like last year was a lot of fear, uncertainty. Going into this year, you have your pulse on all these markets and seeing what's going on. What are you seeing, and what do you think is going to end up happening throughout the year?
Right, so 2022 was that hard year, right? So we went from low interest rates, and we knew everyone was in a bidding war. There was low inventory, but at least the interest rates were low.
Right.
Well, then we went to the interest rates doubling and the inventory not doing that. So we still had low inventory. Now we had increased prices. So now they still probably had to get into a multiple offer or pay way more than they had previously at 7%. So it did put not only fear and uncertainty in buyers, everybody just froze. Agents as well. So everyone froze for a little bit. We didn't. But that's what we were feeling, and that's what we were seeing in our market. Now, coming into the other hard part I want to also touch on is many of those buyers were approved at those 3% interest rates. So now all of a sudden they were trying to buy at that, and they had a monthly payment that they thought was one thing, and overnight their monthly payment went up hundreds, sometimes thousands more, and it was just so much. So they couldn't really handle it. So it was a lot to take in. Now what I'm seeing is, we did have the second half of 2022, transactions dropped. I mean, 35% decrease in units sold in the end of the last year. So, and still now, we are seeing a slower start, but what we are seeing is we're seeing buyers get back in it. They froze, they decided not to make a change, they freaked out for a little bit, and now they're remembering why they were buying in the first place. They're realizing we're not going back to 3%, and so they either are going to continue renting or they're just going to make changes. So we are actually really seeing a lot more activity on the buyers who are interested in getting in the market. But are you seeing that with applications? And
yeah, so, and everybody knows one of the partners of Maximus Mortgage Advisors, my team helps Mary's team, and we have seen a lot of applications come through, a lot of buyers. I think it's interesting though, because I think on the seller side, we have these buyers coming in droves. And now because look, rates are coming down, inflation's coming down, which drives rates. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be seeing rates closer to 5, maybe in the 4s again, which is excellent compared to where they were in the 7s, right? So buyers seem to be great. Here's a question for you, and I think a lot of people watching are going to want to know. I'm someone that's sitting on a lot of equity. I want to move. I know that I could sell my house and make a fortune. I didn't see values drop like everybody said they were. Value, especially in this area, solid, right? If not, they're still going up a pretty good amount. What do you say to a seller who's afraid of what do I do? Do I have to sell right away? What am I going to do to find another house? I have all this uncertainty to a point where I don't even want to have a conversation with an agent yet. But what do you say to them? What's your advice?
so it really depends on their motivation, and that's what I tell my agents all the time. The best time to buy and the best time to sell is when it's the best time to buy or sell for you. Right? People aren't mostly making these decisions because of interest rates or equity in their home. They're making a life change. So what is that life change? What is the quality of life they're after? And when I can understand that, well, then we can problem solve. Right? So that's really what it is. It's going to be personal for each person. Now, if I do have sellers say to me, Mary, I know I can sell this house at the top of the market. Where am I going to live? And if they're downsizing, well, would you want to sell this home now at the top of the market when you're going to buy something a little less expensive? Would you, rent for a little bit, live with family? We're going to go through all of those questions. And my promise to them is I've never had a homeless client yet. We've always figured something out. So the game plan will just depend on what they're, what's important to them. I try to get them away from paying so much attention to the interest rate in the market. It's really not. It's not why they're selling. It's just not.
And a seller, wouldn't they be more in the driver's seat anyway? Aren't there contingencies that you could write into the contract to give them a little breathing room?
So with the sellers, they're always in the power seat if they price it at the right spot. And that's the thing I have to tell them about, right?
Great point.
So you have to price in the right spot. And when you do that, we're in the driver's seat together. Because now I can use this already urgent market with no inventory to drive the urgency of the buyers even higher. Now I'm getting them to, you're choosing the closing date. You're also getting the price. We're getting them to still put caps or take the house in as is condition. So we're staying in the driver's seat. And I don't care what the market is, if you overprice the house, you're not in the driver's seat. Because buyers buy by comparative shopping. Even if they have nothing to compare it to. They have too much data at their fingertips.
Yeah.
They know what the similar homes have sold for. They know what they're going up for. So it's really just, in any market, and in this one in particular, it's important just to have an agent that understands that, will price it right, and then we'll drive that price up.
So really, it seems number one step, have a conversation. I think it seems like all the conversations we have always go back to that. There's everybody's situation's different. So it doesn't matter what it is, if you don't know the facts, if you don't know your options laid out in front of you, how are you going to make the right decision for you and your family?
Well, that's the goal. Whenever we sit down with a buyer or a seller, it's what is the driving factor? What's the motivation? I just need to know that. And then we game plan. Because it doesn't matter to me if you buy with us or sell with us now, 5 years from now. We're still going to be here doing it. When's the best time for you? And then how can we game plan? Because also, sitting still, freezing, not making a decision is making a decision to stay put.
And then a year from now, that house is worth 20 grand more that you wanted to buy it for, 40 grand more that's still appreciating, and then you missed out.
And even if it goes the other way, right? What I can't do is you can't say, I want to wait and see what the market did. And then if it didn't do what you wanted it to do, say, never mind, Mayor, let's go back and sell it.
Right.
In the last market. We can't. Once it is what it is, and we can't change it. So you have to just kind of make the decision based on when the best time is for you.
Well, you heard her. She's going to be in this market and this industry for a long, long time, which means I'm stuck with her for a long, long time, which is a good thing. It sounds like not a good thing, but it's a great thing. That's
awesome.
That's why I love you. Get your crystal ball out.
Okay.
Again, a lot of turmoil, craziness over the past year. We went from extreme fear when the pandemic hit to just craziness with values increasing 20% plus in some areas, interest rates low, then interest rates high. Seems to be evening out now, but what is your prediction for 2023 and beyond? But immediately, what are you seeing?
I think we're going to come back strong in 2023. I think people are going to be over the fact of the fear. It is over. I mean, maybe not over, but I think people realize it is what it is. And now I think we're going to see a really strong 2023. I do think the inventory is down. What I will also say for those agents listening is the agent count is going to go down. It's already been going down. This is a year to renew your credits and renew your license. So we're going to see, I mean, the market was great. And so many agents flooded our market. It's also never been more important to hire an agent who knows what they're doing. You can't really mess with this market. It's too volatile. So you can't really hire your cousin Billy like you could. It didn't matter. It didn't matter in 2021 who listed your house. I would still have gotten you way more money, but Cousin Billy would have sold it with his cell phone pictures.
Well,
it just didn't matter.
I'll be a testament. Guys, I've been doing this 20 years, and I've worked with agents of all shapes and sizes and experience. And I'm going to tell you that I've seen agents that know what they're doing. They're saving clients tens of thousands of dollars. And really, like Mary said, just even knowing where to price a house seems so weird. It's like, well, whatever, if we price it high, we don't get it, no big deal. But if you price it too high, it sits. And once it sits, you have people that think they could take advantage of that, and then they lowball you, and vice versa. They price it low, it's gonna go up. So if we want to get in touch with you, Mary, if someone's watching this, they want to talk to you either about working with you on a customer or client level, or they're an agent and they wanted just to talk to you about the many things that you're doing to help support agents, not just even on your own team, but just in general, how do they get in touch with you?
They can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They can also go to our website, which is murphygrouphomes.com, and find me there.
Great. Well, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
And I knew that this would be a great conversation. Is there anything coming up that you want to advertise? I know you have so many events and things of that nature.
We are always doing events. So we have a women's event. I do a lot with women in real estate. So there's a women's real estate mastermind on February 9th. That's at Ramblewood. A couple panels talking about social media marketing and database. Agents, this is a time where you have to be careful with the money that you spend. So this one is all based around how can we help more clients without putting out too much of the resources that we might not have. So that's February 9th. I would definitely attend that. And follow me. I'm never not doing something. There's pretty much,
trust
you're
me.
never not.
Trust me, you know everything that's going on with Mary if you follow her social media.
Yes, you do.
And me for that matter, but we don't have to get into that today. It's a whole other show. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Again, until the next time, this is The Arena. We are always trying to bring on experts to help you fight and win that battle of real estate out there. Have a great one.